Hi, friends. So, this is kind of the continuation of a live stream that I started probably a week and a half ago, and my phone died in the middle of it. So, look, now I'm finally getting around to continuing it. So, I want to talk about the joy revolution and the pandemic. Um, this experience makes it more clear than ever that the joy revolution is not, was never about pretending everything is always joyful. Not about stuffing down emotions, not about ignoring things that are going on around you, not about any of that. The joy revolution is really about understanding what emotions tell you, what things you can do to shift your emotions, how to just to be aware of where you are emotionally and what that tells you. So I want to tell you a couple of the things that are really helping me right now as we're in a pretty crazy time in the world. So again, the first thing is just be very gentle with yourself and don't try to stuff down emotions. I've seen that in myself and I've seen it in other people that you can tell that they're on the verge of kind of panic and they stuff it down. But the thing is, that's still inside of us. So that's not a productive thing. It's going to affect our physical health. Those emotions don't go away. So feel your emotions. Um, but then we also know that our brain functions differently at different emotional states. So one thing that has been really helpful for me is I've gone back to that emotional scale. And um, if you're not familiar with the emotional scale, there's a little bit about it in the book Hugh Jackman and the Joy Revolution, or you can Google it. There, Dana Wilde has an emotional scale, Abraham Hicks has an emotional scale, but it's just really helpful to know what emotions are next to each other on the scale, because we can't leap from panic to complete knowing that everything's going to be fine. That's like they're not in the same county, right? So it's really helpful to kind of be aware of where you are, and then be able to gently move yourself into a better emotional space so that your brain is functioning differently. Um, so I'm going to start really at kind of the low point. And if you aren't at that low point, don't, go down there just to be with everybody. But if you find yourself in that position, this is kind of the way out. So kind of that despair, panic, completely overwhelmed, that's really kind of the low end of the scale. And what's interesting is the easiest way forward out of that is to actually put words to your fear. So fear is actually a step up from that feeling of just being paralyzed. So I'm not even going to name some of the fears that have come up for me because I don't want to create them in you if they haven't. Um, but it's just crazy that is really honestly sometimes. And take out a notebook if it helps you focus. A notebook is a really easy way to only have one thought at a time consciously, and just write down, I'm afraid that, and just let it come out, because those fears are inside you. So go ahead and you reduce their power by naming them, by getting them out. So then one of the other really key steps that a lot of us were never taught growing up, a lot of us, didn't get a lot of emotional intelligence in our upbringing because that's just wasn't a thing, is the way forward out of fear. Because you like writing down your fears, you don't want to stay there. You want to keep moving along the scale. So once you've really given some names to your fears, then take a couple of deep breaths. And the way forward out of fear is anger. Most of us were not raised that anger was a positive thing. And again, you're not going to stay there. You're not going to be making life decisions from that emotional point, because you understand that you don't see the whole picture from that emotional vantage point. But that is the most productive way out of fear. So when you've written down your fears, take a couple of deep breaths and then go ahead and write it out. I'm so angry that, in whatever it is, just get it out in writing, get it out of your unconscious brain and out so that it has been verbalized. Now, again, you're not going to stay there. because where we want to go is we want to get to a position of hope, but we want to get there authentically so that you're not pretending to be helpful. So, from the position of anger, when you've written out all of the anger that you can think of, again, take a couple of deep breaths, maybe close your eyes, maybe stand up and stretch, whatever that kind of thing is, and then sit down and you're going to write, it's just frustrating that. And maybe all of the same things will come out that you wrote in your anger, but frustration is going to soften a little bit. And again, you're moving along that emotional scale, and it's like literally your brain is opening up as you move along the scale. When we are in that really narrow, that amygdala, that fight or flight, our peripheral vision narrows, and our adrenaline, our cortisol, all of those things that our body does to prepare us for, there's a tiger in front of me. But the problem is you can't exist in that emotional state 24/7, or it takes a toll on your body. It takes a toll on your brain function. So that's why we're talking about moving along the scale. So moving from anger into frustration. And again, just write it all out. But as you write, it's just frustrating that the emotion is going to be a little bit softened from the anger. And then when you've written all of that out, that's where, again, take a couple deep breaths, stand up, stretch, take a drink of water, and then you're going to make that key shift from frustration to hope. And you're just going to start writing down hope statements. I really hope that. Now, what's interesting is sometimes in the past couple of weeks, I was like, I don't even know what to hope for. I don't even know what I hope the new normal is. So that's what I do want to share with you in case it's helpful. Is I don't think our society is ever going to go back to the same normal as it was right now. I think all of us have gotten the things that we will take out of this productively are, we're probably all going to slow down a little bit. We're probably all paying closer attention to the relationships around us. We're all probably going to pay a little more attention to our wellness. We're possibly all going to have a different relationship with our planet. There are all kinds of things that we can take forward out of it, but it could be, I really hope that people in leadership make wise decisions. I really hope that people that are researching things to do, I hope their brains are working really productively. So whatever are the hope statements that you can come out of that, once you have gotten to an emotional place of being able to find some authentic hope, then your brain is functioning at a completely different level. So I hope that's really helpful. The other thing I want everybody to do is just take such good care of yourself right now. When you get on an airplane, they tell you to put on your own oxygen mask first. It's not because you don't care about the person next to you. It's because they know your instinct is to reach out to somebody else first. But you can't help someone else if you don't have oxygen. So, and that means emotionally, know what are those little things that support yourself emotionally. Physically too, obviously, water, sleep, vitamins, sunshine, take care of yourself, but take care of yourself emotionally too. Whatever those little things are, whether it's music, whether it's, sunshine is an emotional thing as well. Connecting electronically with the people that you love that you aren't able to see physically right now. The website positiveprime.com is one of the things that I use because it's just like a very passive, unconscious mental up level, emotional up level. So whatever those little joy bringers, those little emotional up level things are for you, have a list of them handy. They're just as important to you right now as vitamins and as sleep. So that's what I want you to do. Take very good care of yourselves, my friends, and keep in touch. Let me know how I can help.